My wife mocked me to her friends, saying she regretted not marrying her wealthy ex. She never knew I was recording until I filed for divorce. Hello, Reddit I+ here. I never thought my marriage would end because of a conversation I was never meant to hear, yet that is exactly how my entire world collapsed. I am a 35-year-old man, and until recently I believed I was living a quiet, honest life with my wife of 8 years. I thought we were building something real. What I discovered instead was that I had been cast as a backup plan in someone else's unfinished fantasy. My wife, Serena, and I met 11 years ago at a coworker's housewarming party. I was working as a logistics analyst at the time, fresh out of graduate school, focused on stability rather than flash. Serena worked in hospitality management, coordinating high-end corporate retreats and charity galas. She had a sharp wit, an infectious laugh, and an effortless way of making people feel seen. When she paid attention to me that night, I felt chosen. We dated for nearly 3 years. I proposed with a modest ring and a nervous speech in our tiny apartment kitchen. She cried, hugged me, and said yes without hesitation. Our wedding was simple. No destination ceremony, no designer dress, no luxury venue. We invited close friends and family, served buffet food, and danced until midnight. Serena told everyone that day that she did not care about extravagance, that love and partnership mattered more. For the first few years, that seemed true. We worked, saved, and planned. I moved into a senior role at my company. Serena became well known in her field for executing flawless events. We bought a small townhouse in a quiet neighborhood and talked about children someday. I thought we were aligned. About 4 years into our marriage, a name from her past began to surface more often than I was comfortable with. His name was Victor. According to Serena, he was her former long-term boyfriend, someone she had dated before meeting me. She described him as charismatic but emotionally distant. He came from money. Old money. His family owned several commercial properties and investment firms. She claimed his parents never approved of her, which ultimately led to their breakup. I believed her story without question. I felt sympathy for her, and even some pride that she had chosen a life with me instead of chasing wealth. That confidence slowly eroded. Serena's interests shifted. She began obsessing over luxury brands, 5-star resorts, and influencer lifestyles. She would spend hours scrolling through photos of private jets and seaside villas. When I reminded her of our financial goals, she accused me of thinking too small. She started going out more often, dressing differently, staying out later. Compliments were replaced by comparisons. She talked about men she knew whose husbands owned companies or drove imported cars. When I received a promotion that came with a decent raise, I expected at least a smile. Instead, she nodded and said it was good, but asked when I planned to move into something bigger. 3 months before everything fell apart, Serena mentioned that Victor had reached out online. She said he congratulated her on a successful conference she had managed. She showed me the message. Polite, casual, nothing alarming. She insisted it meant nothing and that she was simply being civil. Then came the coffees, then the lunches, then the stories. Victor, it turned out, was now a senior executive in his family's company, recently divorced, living in a penthouse downtown, driving a car that cost more than our annual mortgage. Serena showed me pictures she claimed were public posts. She lingered on them longer than necessary. I trusted her. That trust would cost me everything. Last month, I was scheduled for a 2-day work trip. On the first night, the project was abruptly postponed. Instead of staying in the hotel, I decided to return home early and surprise Serena. I stopped for her favorite food and walked into our house around 7 in the evening. I heard laughter in the living room. It was her monthly gathering with friends. I was about to announce myself when I heard Victor's name. I stopped moving. Serena was mid-story, describing a recent lunch with him. She talked about his tailored suit, his watch, the way everyone in the restaurant seemed to notice him. Then she said something that made my chest tighten. She wondered out loud what her life would have been like if she had stayed with Victor instead of marrying me. One of her friends asked if she regretted her choice. Serena laughed and said she absolutely would have lived better. She called me kind but predictable, reliable but uninspiring. She complained about our house, our cars, our routine. She said Victor represented the life she had always imagined for herself. Another friend asked why she married me at all. Serena answered without hesitation. She said Victor's family had made it clear she would never be accepted. When they broke up, she felt rejected and embarrassed. When she met me, I felt safe, stable. She said she married me because she thought she had missed her chance at something better. Then came the part that shattered whatever hope I still had. Victor, she revealed, had told her his marriage was a mistake. that he never stopped thinking about her, that he wanted her back. They had been seeing each other regularly for months. She admitted she was considering leaving me. She called it her last opportunity to finally get the life she deserved. Some of her friends encouraged her, others cautioned her. Serena dismissed the warnings. She said Victor had already spoken to an attorney about asset protection. She joked about prenuptial agreements and said it did not matter because just being with him would elevate her world. I stood there, invisible, listening to my wife reduce our entire marriage to a temporary shelter. I took out my phone and recorded everything. 20 minutes of clear audio, confessions, plans, laughter at my expense. I left without being seen. That night, I checked into a hotel and listened to the recording over and over until the truth finally sank in. I was never her dream. I was her waiting room. The next morning, I contacted a lawyer. I did not confront her. I did not argue. I did not beg. When she came home the following day and told me she wanted to talk, I already had the paperwork ready. She cried. She apologized. She claimed she was confused. But the recording told the truth. She never would. I did not lose a wife that day. I escaped a lie that had lasted 8 years. After I filed, Serena did not react the way I expected. At first, she played confused. She claimed she did not understand how things had escalated so quickly. She said I was overreacting, that I had misunderstood harmless venting between friends. She insisted nothing physical had happened yet, and that I should be grateful for her honesty. When that did not work, the tone changed. She started calling nonstop, voicemails filled with tears, regret, and carefully chosen words. She told me she felt lost, that she had been under pressure, that everyone says things they do not mean when they are frustrated. She reminded me of the years we spent together, the sacrifices she claimed to have made, the plans we once discussed. She said walking away would be throwing away something rare. I did not respond. That silence unsettled her. A week later, she showed up at my office unannounced. She waited in the lobby until I came down, eyes red, voice trembling. She begged me to talk privately. When I refused, she raised her voice just enough to draw attention, accusing me of abandoning her without explanation. I calmly told her all communication should go through attorneys. That was the moment her tears dried up. Her manipulation escalated fast. She began rewriting history. Suddenly, our marriage had been unhappy for years. She claimed I was emotionally distant, controlling with money, unsupportive of her ambitions. She told mutual friends that I blindsided her with divorce papers and refused to work on the relationship. Some people believed her. Others quietly reached out to ask for my side. I shared nothing except one sentence. I heard everything. When sympathy failed, she turned to pressure. Her lawyer sent a letter demanding spousal support well above what made sense. The claim stated that she had sacrificed career opportunities to support my growth. It was fiction. Serena had out-earned me for several years early in our marriage. My attorney smiled when he read it. Then came the threats. She warned that court would not be kind to me. She hinted that judges favor wives. She said dragging this out would cost me more than settling quietly. She implied that she could accuse me of emotional neglect if pushed. I said nothing. What Serena did not know was that I had come prepared. The recordings were not my only documentation. I had messages, calendars, financial records, and proof of her meetings with Victor during our marriage. I had receipts showing shared expenses that contradicted her claims of financial control. I had witnesses who knew the truth, but stayed silent until asked directly. When court proceedings began, Serena walked in confident. She left shaken. Her attorney attempted to paint me as cold and unfeeling. My attorney played the audio. The room changed instantly. Serena's laughter, her words about settling, her plans to leave me, her comments about money, status, and using marriage as a stepladder. It was all there, clear, undeniable. Her face went pale. The judge listened without interruption. The threats stopped after that day. Serena tried one final tactic. She called me late at night, voice soft, telling me she felt betrayed by Victor too. She claimed he had backed away once things became complicated. She said she had made a terrible mistake and only realized my value once she lost me. She asked if we could pause the divorce and start counseling. That call hurt more than I expected. Not because I believed her, but because it confirmed something painful. She only wanted me when her preferred option failed. I declined. The divorce concluded quietly after that. No dramatic settlements, no spousal support, assets divided cleanly. She walked away with exactly what the law allowed, and nothing more. Victor never showed up. Months later, I learned she had moved into a smaller apartment and changed industries. Her social circle faded. The lifestyle she chased never materialized. As for me, I kept my home. I kept my peace. I rebuilt my routines, my confidence, and my sense of self without someone measuring my worth against someone else's wallet. I was never second choice. I was simply in the wrong story with the wrong person.